Are we live yet?
No, hold on. I'm having a problem. Hold on. 1, 2,
it says 3. We are. I'm going to take it from here if you don't.
It says we are.
Yeah, live. 34 seconds, baby. You hit the button and we're going.
We are live. I don't know what's going on around here. I'm losing.
Yeah, I love that you wore your Bill Belichick today.
I'm losing sleep over this. What is going on? Go ahead. Let's talk while I figure out what the heck is going on.
I love that you've gotten so technical in your middle age.
What is that noise? Someone's going, ooh, ooh, it sounds like.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is F&B Live. And yes, this is a professional broadcast.
May I cut in and do our entry?
Yes, please do.
Food and beverage brought to life. But here's the problem. I didn't do this thing. I'm in the middle of, I didn't put our banner up, but it's okay. Live, juicy, inside scoop from the tastemakers, newsmakers, bread bakers, drink shakers, spoon lickers, clam diggers, farmers, foodies, and friends of the Food and Beverage Magazine World.
That is right.
I did it right for the first time in
It sounded
a month.
Good.
Well, you know, this quarantine thing, I'm getting used to it. So now it's about time.
By the way, we actually have a clam digger on today.
And a spoon licker.
We do. She's awesome.
Who's your favorite spoon licker?
Ooh, Julia Child.
Really? Do you know who my favorite spoon licker is? I wonder if you could guess. I think you might be able to.
Elizabeth Blau.
No, stop talking about her every episode of the show.
But I want to be here when I grow up.
We all know that. Now, my favorite spoon licker. Come on, you know.
Let me think about this for a second. Is it your mama?
No, we were together. It was 20 years ago. We were in the kitchen. Robin Leach was there. You and me, Charlie Palmer. Who else was in that room? Oh, the Battermans. Remember them? And they had that little magazine. The Batterberries. Yes. Remember them?
Yeah. No, Susan Feniger.
That's my favorite spoon licker.
I'm gonna tell you why that's an excellent choice. Because when we watch food on television being competed, demonstrated, taught, tasted, explored, we get a glimpse into the private lives and the secret lives and the professional lives of chefs and cooks and tasters and restaurateurs.
Correct.
And we all learn from each other. And there was a series of events many years ago that were sponsored by the San Pellegrino Company, which is a division of Nestle Water. And most people don't realize this, but Perrier and San Pellegrino are kind of the two versions of bubbly water that exist out in the world.
Correct.
For restaurants, the more food-friendly option of the two bubbly waters at the time. And this is in the pre-seltzer days. Today, everything is carbonated, and you can get bubbly water anywhere and everywhere from all over the planet, with and without alcohol, with and without flavor, with and without. But in those
or without and with.
Well, and in those days
we're getting comments already, Jen.
I know. And in those days, it was Pellegrino, San Pellegrino, the Italian water, and Perrier, the French water. And Perrier and San Pellegrino have different bubbles, okay? The bubbles in the San Pellegrino are softer, which make them more food friendly, which is why it's the choice of restaurateurs all over. But if you are bubbly water and you're forsaking imbibing and you want to replicate the adult beverage experience and you want to mimic the kind of satisfaction of a bubble from a champagne, well, then Perrier is your drink. And back in the day, there were the two. And so San Pellegrino did lots of promotions around restaurants and chefs, including the San Pellegrino Almost Famous Chef Contest that brought literally the top graduating students from the top culinary schools all over the world together for a competition. And it was at many of those, sponsored in conjunction with Johnson & Wales and other culinary programs, that you and me and Robin Leach, when I first met you, thanks to Robin Leach, but we would go and have these tastings where we'd watch these culinary students competing for the prizes for the Almost Famous Chef Contest, because these were the equivalents of the best new chef on the cover of Food and Wine. And so when we were all together in Las Vegas at Charlie Palmer's tasting one time, Susan Feniger from the Two Hot Tamales and Border Grill walked around with a handful of spoons.
Constantly.
constantly. And I was watching her, and she tasted everything, because to her, tasting as the chefs progressed not only taught you about their own philosophy of flavor, but it showed you how effectively they were building flavors and how effectively they were correcting mistakes and adjusting for light, medium, or full-bodied ingredients that have natural variability in their ripeness and their seasonality, etc. So how many times have you watched Chopped with our friend Ted Allen and said, gee, I wonder what that tastes like, how when they're tasting that sauce in the blender with just 2 minutes to go, do they know when they taste it, oh, it needs more salt, it needs more citrus, it needs more herbs, it needs more something. And so those moments are the moments that I think are the lost moments of TV and TV cooking and TV food presentation, when nobody explains to you why they're tasting, what they're tasting for, and how they're using that to correct what it is that they are tasting to make it better. But back in the day at the Almost Famous Chef contest, Susan was tasting everything and licking every spoon. And you dip it in and you look at it and you might smell it and then you taste it and then you discard into the dish pit the spoon. You don't use plastic. You're very sustainable. And I asked her about this.
I love that dish pit.
You should be tasting too. So do you remember she handed you and she handed me some spoons and she said, taste. I said, don't the kids, don't the chefs, don't they want to finish it first? And she said, they may want to. But what I need to know about how they work and what they're accomplishing and how their process works, I can't learn from the finished product alone. I need to taste it. And that I'm paraphrasing because we had a nice long conversation about it, but that's the gist of it. The gist of it is, why do you taste as you're cooking? Because everything we cook with, for the most part, is going to have variability. No two oranges taste the same. No two limes taste the same. And no two recipes are going to taste the same, made by two different people. The day may be warmer, the day may be cooler. The humidity may be high, the humidity may be low. It always turns out different. Your job as a cook is to taste it, to see how close it is to what you intended, and then say, if it's not there yet, how do I get there? And when we say there, we mean the bar that we describe as irresistible. Make whatever you're making be an irresistible example of the very thing you're cooking. That's what we're all going for. It's not that there's one right answer or one wrong answer. Only when you put it in your mouth can you say, yep, that's what I want it to taste like.
Speaking of irresistible,
yes.
Guess who's in the background? Did I say it? Do I need to say it?
Yes.
No, not Susan Feniger. Who's our first guest up?
Oh, all right.
I mean, do I have to?
Not only is our first guest on with us today, pioneering and reimagining and reinventing what food will look like, made for friends, guests, and customers in the post-pandemic period. I can't believe that the 3 Ps are not the payroll protection program anymore. It's post-pandemic period. Post-pandemic, we're going to imagine, where are we going to get our food from? If we can't go to restaurants, where are we going to go? How are restaurants that are struggling to survive, losing half to 2/3 of their seats, going to survive? Well, we're turning to friends this week, all week, about innovation. And one of the things we're going to do is talk to my good friend, native New Englander, Annie B. Copps, who's a former editor, longtime contributor, not only for Yankee Magazine and many other of the nation's outlets, but she is a bona fide clam digger. And in a recent edition of Boston Magazine, when she was talking about her famous favorite clam and crab shacks and lobster shacks all over New England, she did it under the Clam Digger headline, digging up the best shack experiences for your summer delights. But she's also recently undertaken an extraordinary new project that she's here to talk about. Not only is she one of my favorite food people, she and I are soul sisters from that New England origin. It really gives me a tremendous amount of pleasure. It's my honor, really, to welcome Annie B. Copps, author of A Little Cape Cod Cookbook and so many other works that we're going to talk about today, but I welcome her now. Oh, and A Little Taste of Maine. Can we hear her?
Yeah.
Annie?
Can you hear me?
Yes. And
yeah, she's on and she's good. Whoever's running the technical part of this programming, amazing guy. He's an amazing.
You are amazing.
So what are his initials?
It was the MP. But let me just show you, Annie. Let me just show you how great we really are. Okay. We do a little pre-stuff every once in a while, and we could pop this up.
Thank you.
See how that works?
Wow.
We can pop this up.
Taste of Cape Cod.
Sure. That's awesome.
Put those up again. I want to see the cover because I want to point something out to you all.
Look at this. We've got Tara Marks excited to hear from Annie.
I know. It's exciting.
You know her?
Exciting. No.
We do.
I love that we have fans and friends. Listen, Annie, in the corner.
Hold on. I want to show Annie how famous I am. Annie, art man. Star of television, podcasting. He wants to be me when he grows up.
That is your Facebook profile name.
Art Man from Wild on E. Remember Wild on E?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Hey, Art, will you come hang out with us sometime soon?
Yes, Art. I'll give you the link whenever you want. Let me get back to Annie's book pictures here. Go ahead, Jen. you guys got me all famudged.
I saw what she just. I'm going to get some of that. I think that has to have a little cranberry juice cocktail in it. Is it brown or is it red?
Well, actually, it is neither, but it is a Manhattan.
Oh.
Yeah. And I want you to, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a genuine Luxardo cherry on the bottom of that.
All right, I'll be right back. Michael, keep it going.
What would you like me to say when we're looking at your brick wall? My gosh, Annie, it's just us now.
It's just you and me, Michael. We can talk about Jennifer.
I'm always good for that, but then Jennifer gets mad because she'll watch the show later.
I just want to say this is a really magnificent venue, and this
Thank
platform. I'm so thrilled and honored and excited. Jennifer knows I'm a former radio and television person, and when this stuff started to go down, like a lot of people, my river ran completely dry, and I was really scared. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've really started to feel much more hopeful, and with shows like this. And a lot of the podcasts that are out there, and everybody's trying their best to do what we do. And
well, it's hard. And
it's really hard.
I started looking at our numbers more because we've had nothing but time on our hands, right? So I'm looking at our analytics for the website, Food and Beverage Magazine's website, and I started looking, and it turned out there's like 19,000 readers an hour.
Oh, brother, you're knocking it out of the park.
On the website. And I was talking to Jennifer, who was always trying to guide me in all the right directions. I'll never go, but she's trying to guide me in the direction. And she's like, it's time now, Michael. It is time to let everybody know that everything's going to be okay and what we can do and bring them information and do it live, non-selfishly. You know what I mean, Annie? Non-selfishly.
This is not about us at all.
I'm not going to lie, like, having a great author like yourself on, that's exciting to me because I'm actually a great author too. And my book comes out July 1st, Andy. July 1st. It'll be at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, everywhere else. Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Okay,
well, you know what? I wish that every restaurateur had the opportunity to read your book before they open their doors, because as the three of us know, but certainly hopefully a lot of the listeners and watchers know, the birth of a restaurant is a very difficult thing, and there are a lot of, all the advice in the world, and you still kind of stumble, and people go into it thinking that they're prepared, and they're not. And a book like yours is really going to save a lot of time and money.
Listen,
well, here's what Jennifer. Let me just talk to Annie, Jennifer. Yeah. We're on a date. You walked away, and it's like when you bring your boyfriend to dinner and bring another girl in, and you walk away. And they kind of click, Jen. They kind of click.
Not trying to block you, babe.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there you were, and now Annie popped up, and it's like, all right.
Babe, Annie's a keeper.
It looks like the Harlem Shake is trying to get on for some reason, and they can't. I don't know if they don't have the link. Yeah, I see here Kim Wilson Marshall says she's trying to get on. She's waiting, but I don't see her backstage.
Here, is she with us?
No, she's not backstage. I need her to click in.
She needs to click in.
I don't even know. Maybe what should we do here? Can we look at our emails, Jen, real quick? And I hate to have people waiting.
Yeah. Dump me again and because Annie, I don't want you to go anywhere if you can stick around.
No, Annie and I are on a date now, Jennifer. We're actually going to get close. Let's get close. Here we go. Do you like how I did that? Oh, we're super close. Wait a minute. I feel like I should put my glasses on. I feel very uneducated right now.
So
you're a writer extraordinaire. Everywhere, right? You're all over. You're the queen of New England, from what I understand.
Well,
the clam digger.
That's nice of you and Jennifer to say. I am from New England. I spent most of my career and my life here in New England. I was in the public health field for a long time. I was in restaurants for a long time. I was a journalist for a long time. And the last 8 years, though, I have been working in the cruise ship industry, teaching cooking classes and leading culinary tours.
Fun.
I can talk about any chapter of this crazy life of mine, but
I like that. That's fun. It's a little scary right now. I mean, I'm glad you're not on a ship right now. That
me too.
seems to be
a
scary.
lot of my crew buddies are, and I hope that everybody understands that this did not come from the cruise ships, and that the cruise ships, if someone is sick on a cruise ship, it's hard. It is a contained environment, but they work their tails off to keep the ships clean, and it never comes from the ship. It never comes from the crew. It always comes from the outside in. But
little scary.
Yeah, I have about 40 friends who are either they couldn't get repatriated or they need to be on the ship because they can't just leave them empty. I mean, it's for 66 days they're having to be limited.
And they're not getting paid. Are they getting paid? No.
Some are and some aren't.
But they're getting fed.
They're getting fed.
Bologna and whitefish with a little bit of mustard. What are they eating?
Probably at this point. They are opening up some cans of tuna, I think. But Oceania and Regent were the cruise lines that I work for. They're owned by the same company, and they're boutique. They're very small ships, and food and wine is the traveler that they sought out, and they were very smart to put in culinary centers on about 5 of their ships. 24-person, hands-on. We taught legit adult entertainment. Adult education. Adult entertainment. I meant education.
Well, Jennifer, I'm bringing you in now because I'm getting a little nervous where this conversation is going.
Yes.
Annie, I live in Vegas, so adult entertainment makes me nervous.
It was entertaining, but it was adult education. 2 hours, 40 different classes, and then more than 90 culinary tours. I mean, it's Catherine Kelly, who runs the program. It's amazing what she's put together. But
we want you to stay on with us, and we're going to interview this woman right now. This fantastic. I don't know. Is she a chef, Jen, or she's just a restaurateur?
So let me see.
I want Annie as our co-pilot today. I'll even bow down because Annie. We're going to get into Annie's story. It's I'm really interested, but I want Annie to hear about from what I looked at.
Annie and I are going to toast each other.
All right, toast. I only have my bottle of alkaline water. I'm trying to become alkaline so I can kill all the diseases in my body.
All right, Michael, I want to tell you 2 other things about Annie.
What about our guest that's backstage?
Yelena is coming to join us.
Right now?
Yeah, she should be here with us any minute.
All right, well, I feel like it's a girls versus guys day.
It's not. Well, lucky you.
Yelena, you're sideways. Or maybe it's the Manhattan I've been drinking.
I think it's the Manhattan.
Could be.
So first of all, I want to tell all of you that both Annie and I are natives of New England, Massachusetts in particular, and Boston. We consider ourselves Bostonians. And so when a Bostonian tells you that there's adult education or adult entertainment, they're pretty much one and the same thing. In Las Vegas, they might be different, but they may be the same, but in Boston, they're quite different. Adult entertainment in Boston was narrowly defined, a combat zone, and it's a whole separate thing. And us Bostonians were known as being pretty conservative people, you know. You're lucky if you get a hug out of us, right, Annie?
True. We are warming up. But, yeah. And I do have to say my family, we are huggers. But
okay, well.
But that is not the norm. But the thing about New Englanders, we may seem a little bit unfriendly or tough on the outside, but once you become friends with someone from New England, it's the real deal. Like
and we're as loyal as they come.
I'm sorry?
And we're as loyal as they come.
To a fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one thing us New Englanders take around the world with us when we go places is our willingness to be quick and mouthy in any situation where you're standing in line at Dunkies waiting for a coffee and somebody in line ahead of you says something smart alecky and everybody laughs. You don't get that all over the country. So I will say when you leave New England, that's that humor that Jay Leno and all of our comedians that come out of New England, That's what I miss.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you now, have you been to Harlem in New York? I won't say lately because of the pandemic, but when's the last time you were in New York City, and when did you go to Harlem last?
Oh, I was in Harlem in January.
Okay. Have you been to a place called Harlem Shake?
Of course.
Well, the founder and co-owner of Harlem Shake is on with us.
Oh, wow. I love your restaurant, sweetie. Oh, you're sideways, though.
Yelena Pasic, welcome to F&B Live, representing what's going on the ground in New York, in Harlem, the new old-fashioned way that the crispy, yummy chicken sandwich and hamburger and the diner counter is all brought back to life. You want to talk about old-fashioned and sexy like Boston in the same sentence. Look at this fantastic bathroom they do. Look at her hot dog. I mean, to me, everything about this place is perfect.
Am I technically going too fast for you? You went from the bathroom to the hot dog.
I want to linger and swoon on these images, and
We'll start with the chicken. Let's look at this.
Let's welcome Yelena and ask her to tell us about this.
The chicken.
Yelena, welcome.
Can we hear you? Did we lose you?
I can't hear her. I wonder why.
I see her.
And she's sideways, and her mic isn't on.
Can you unmute your microphone? Yelena, we can't hear you.
So
There we go. No, now it's muted. Okay.
There you go. Hi, hon.
There we go.
Nope, you turned it back off.
So, while Yelena's getting fixed, I've been to her restaurant, and I love a fried chicken sandwich more than I love clam strips. And
ooh, wait a second. That's big.
It is. And I'll stop talking as soon as Yelena's live, but I have to tell you, I mean, it's shatteringly crunchy on the outside, and that juicy, perfectly cooked on the inside, and then this soft bun, so you're like, and then you get a little more crunch from the pickle.
Is that the sandwich of your dreams?
Yeah, it really is. And I won't go to.
Look, she's gone dark. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You guys figure it out. Don't distract your guests with
All right,
the technical problems. Let's talk about the chicken sandwich. I won't go to that place that doesn't love my friends who are gay or lesbian or don't believe in God. I will not eat that chicken sandwich. I will drive 3.5 hours in a car to have lunch at Harlem Shake.
Wow, that's
what?
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it has nothing to do with a drive-through sandwich, but you know that there's all this, you know, I don't want to mention the other place's name. Popeyes I'll mention, and that's pretty good, but that's fast food. What is happening in Harlem with this chicken sandwich is the thing of beauty. I don't know where she's sourcing her chickens. I don't know the secrets of it, but that's money well spent.
Let's see if we can hear her now, Jen.
Sure.
Yelena, welcome.
Nope.
Babe, we still don't have any sound.
Okay, you guys work it out off camera with Yelena.
Okay.
How do you do that? Andy, how do you do that? How do you do that?
I have no idea, but I don't think your guests want to hear about your technical.
They like it. The guests are our family.
No, the people listening and watching.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so
We got to iron this out.
Eyes on the prize, people. Eyes on the prize. So, go ahead.
When we talk about the food of New England and this pandemic moment, we're going to iron things out. We'll have Yelena on with us in a little while.
Oh, yes, I want to hear her story.
Well, I want to hear the story too, and I want
I'm
you
going to go get her now.
Okay.
So, Annie, let's talk a little bit about your most recent project. You made news this weekend with a pop-up concept, Little Bird.
So,
I love
Little
that.
Bird Events is a company that's owned by my friend Angela Merengue, and it's in Norwood, Massachusetts, and it's a beautiful space. She has a full liquor license, a kitchen, outdoor space. She does beautiful events there. Wedding, rehearsal dinners, graduation parties, whatever you want. And when this COVID-19 hit the fan, like everybody else out there,
Events dried up.
Yeah, I was saying to Michael, like the river dried up. So we had been talking a long time about doing some cooking classes there, or maybe a book signing. And she called about 2 weeks before Mother's Day and said, I have an idea. And like I've been trying to figure out how I could occupy my time. She said, "What if we did a Mother's Day brunch where people could come and pick up food?"
Oh, nice.
And I said, "Okay." And I sort of chewed about it over the weekend, and then, by Monday or Tuesday, it was a week before Mother's Day, and I sent her some ideas. She said, "Great." We went to Restaurant Depot and Costco and the local fish market and gathered the ingredients. And, without any sort of inventory system or proper packaging, it was packaged nicely, but we didn't have any labels or stickers, and we were really flying by the seat of our pants. We pulled a rabbit out of our hats and served about 500 meals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fact that the news crews came out because you did several things that foretell where we might all be heading in the post-pandemic period in the food industry, in the hospitality industry. Talk about what you think Little Bird accomplished over the weekend as a pop-up with the to-go meals that is different than existing restaurants just doing to-go meals, as many have been doing.
Well, so Norwood is west of the city, and there are a lot of restaurants out there, but not as many as there are in the city. In the city, the restaurants and in the suburbs are doing a terrific job doing the best they can to pivot and prepare food and have it ready for pickup. But we felt like, especially the moms that we talked to, they are sick and tired of their own food, and they're a little tired of the restaurants that they've been ordering takeaway from. So this was a chance for them to have something that was really created especially for them. It wasn't taken from an existing menu. This was designed specifically for them. So we got the food that I was cooking. Angela made beautiful flower arrangements. We have another friend who has a bloody mix that you can just add vodka to. And oh gosh, we had something else that I can't remember. Oreo cookies that say, Mother's Day on them. So it was really, we did a strata, which is, sausage and egg and kale, like a savory bread pudding. We did a braided breakfast loaf that had kale and leeks and peppers, and I did clam chowder. I made homemade Pop-Tarts, cinnamon or strawberry, blueberry lemon cakes, and I think we made something else. To be honest with you, I feel like I was hit by a bus yesterday, so I can't really remember it all.
So take a sip of your Manhattan.
Yeah, no. So we pumped it all out. So what we're going to do moving forward, 2 parts. One, on Wednesdays and Fridays, our customers can come and pick up food. It won't be like the Mother's Day brunch because that was a little bit indulgent, but we're going to have salads and soups, entrees, charcuterie, snacks, hummus and crackers, and all that sort of thing.
Right.
So Wednesdays and Fridays, it's going to change every week, so they're not going to get the same thing, but it'll be a limited menu, but it'll change every single week. And then as soon as the weather warms up, and if Governor Baker is able to, we can open up restaurants, we're going to use the outside space and set up tables 6 feet apart.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, we're going to have a raw bar, grilling, live music, 6 feet apart.
Fun.
Yeah, it's going to be the new normal.
I want to ask you, in this pandemic period where we have been locked up for close to 60 days for most people, yeah. And many restaurants that started off strong, saying they were going to stay open, keep their employees going, and do to-go food, many have also closed their doors because it's difficult.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs, most of the mom and pops in each of the cities around the country that are most severely impacted are the mom and pops, the entrepreneurs. And it's the men and the women, and a lot of times the moms and the women who are keeping these enterprises going. Yeah. And in this show today, we've got 2 extraordinary female entrepreneurs who are doing the pivot to help us all go with hospitality to the new place, post-pandemic period where we will have conviviality and hospitality anew in a brand new way. Joining us now from Harlem Shake in Harlem, New York, is Yelena Pasic. Have we got it all ironed out? How are you?
How are you? I think you can hear me now, I hope.
Thank you for persevering with us. We're glad this all worked out. As you could tell, our celebrated co-host today is the legendary food writer from New England, from Boston Magazine, Yankee Magazine, radio, TV, and everything delicious that New England has to offer. Annie B. Copps, who it turns out drives 3.5 hours just to have your chicken sandwich. So this is a total mitzvah that you're together today. Welcome, Yelena.
Oh, thank you so much. I am very flattered by your compliments to our chicken sandwich. I'll make sure the whole team knows.
Well, and it's not just the chicken sandwich. I think everything that you're doing is. I didn't know that you were going to be on the show, and I really drew back my breath. I'm a big fan of what you do.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, Yelena, tell everybody what you do at Harlem Shake and where the dream was born.
So the dream was really born during my visits to the gym. Believe it or not, when I started going to Harlem back in 2003. I would venture out of my my gym workouts and just see that architecture, see the beauty, see the neighborhoods, and meet a lot of people. And I realized it's really where I would love to have a restaurant. I moved from Croatia in 2000, so I had other ventures with my family. However, this is my first solo venture, and it started 2013. It's been in the making, the whole idea, for probably close to 10 years. I was looking for that moment. The perfect moment was really what I was looking for in location. Once I scored that, then we ventured out to put together food and as well as cultural part of the concept with the help of our brand director Danny, who I very fortunately chose, and he's a really genius in his own right. And the food portion, I was very fortunate as well. In fact, when I took this location, I really was trying to be pragmatic because I am a mom as well. And at that point, I had two young girls coming out of divorce, didn't want to spend long night hours, which was the norm for the very fine dining. So I was looking for a fast casual. And I did research. I realized that Harlem doesn't have a burger joint, and I thought this would be a great location for a burger joint. And then just by doing more research, I realized that I would love to reach out to Kenji Lopez Alf, who I think is one of the biggest food writers on a scene in the later part of the 20th century. And I literally called him and asked him, would you like to consult for my menu? And he said, yeah, I live 5 blocks up. This would be very exciting. My grandma is from Harlem, and I'd love to help do this. So that was how everything fell together. It was really great.
Tell us a little bit about that magical chicken.
Well, I'll just tell you, it's definitely one of the more expensive cuts because we use top quality vendor, and it's just a chicken breast, but it's brined in buttermilk and spices. So the secret of that chicken is first kosherizing it in the brine, so it becomes really moist, and then after it's been sitting in that patiently for overnight period, then a dredge is just a regular fried chicken dredge with some secret ingredients that I don't want to mention, but then you get that result that you're looking at. We also have the dark fried chicken, which is our hot honey chicken sandwich.
Right.
This what you're seeing is a jerk chicken sandwich. We do our jerk powder that's with 23 spices in the blender from the scratch. So we have to do it very often and keep it in airtight containers because, as you can imagine, the aroma of the spices evaporates. But it's really something that is unforgettable. It seems to many people who taste it. It's really delicious. It's 23 different spices ground together.
As an entrepreneur, Yelena, how are you surviving the pandemic?
Well, I mean, it hit me on a personal level as well, because when they announced the shutdown, I believe I had COVID. I had just my daughter got tested for the antibodies. I had all the symptoms. I was with a fever of 101. So I was fortunate to have business partners because I don't know how I would do it all on my own at that point. It lasted for a good 10 days. But, as we have been pretty known in Harlem for food delivery all throughout our 7 years. And in fact, we're celebrating our 7th anniversary on the 13th, which is this week. So for the 7 years, we built quite a successful delivery. So we were fortunate in the sense that we were not comparable to many fine dining establishments, which really have to sort of start that from scratch because it's a very small part of their offering. As well as being a fast casual establishment, it was a little bit easier for people to respect the takeout, and it it was easier probably on us than on many fine dining, not potential bars and clubs. So what we did, we obviously lost some of our sales. We had to lay off maybe 15% of our staff. We obviously went through all the hurdles that everyone else is going through financially, the loans and such, but we were, again, fortunate, got everything pretty fast on time. And we didn't sit still and dwell. We dedicated this time to completely expand our delivery area. So our delivery area expanded by 50 blocks. So, we still have lost, say, maybe 30% of our revenue or 25, but it kind of started pick up and increasing as the time went by. So that was lucky. Now I'm happy to say we rehired all of our laid off staff, so that's great. Also, we really tried to be inventive with the specials that we would offer. For example, we came up with this TP special, which we tried to be quirky like that. With every order over $25, you get like a roll of toilet paper. We also started selling canned beer and wine, and our famous rosé, which people love in Harlem, we did that quarantine special, which is like 2 rosés for $20. That took on really nice. Then it created this amazing sticker that's called Stay Smart. I wish it's on me today, but you can see it on our social media and our website. It's our famous Miss Harlem shake with the mask on, saying "Stay smart, do your part." So in that kind of bounced back from the marketing really fast, and that helped us stay in the loop. We do get a ton of nonprofits ordering meals and partnership, and we're feeding a lot of frontline workers. We made over 5,000 meals in the past 2 weeks. We also have our own Harlem Hero Burger, which is actually anyone who shops or buys something on our website can buy a Harlem Hero Burger at the price for free, and we ship them once a week to the Harlem Hospital or any uptown hospital of our choice. We did the Columbia University Medical Center, Hospital, Montefiore Hospital. So, we're trying to do our part in helping also and having those kind of important things to be involved in the community going on.
Wow.
Other than that,
one of the unsung categories in this whole saga in New York, especially, is the Office of the Medical Examiner. And Dr. Jonathan Hayes and his teams there are just, you can't imagine how grueling this is. And we see the pictures of Hart Island, but there are people that are going through this with tremendous professionalism and respect. And you wouldn't think that these would be people that, nobody's thinking about cheeseburgers when they're going through this. But at the end of their shift, I'm telling you, this is perfect. And I don't know about you, Annie, but Yelena, I know you're European, and I would say that the best pairing for cheeseburgers and French fries is champagne.
Oh.
And in success, you deserve it, and in defeat, you need it, were the words of Winston Churchill. And I think during this pandemic, no truer words could apply to really needing a glass of champagne, because as Betty Davis said herself, there comes a time in every woman's life where the only thing that helps is a glass of champagne.
Jennifer, I'm going to agree with you. I think champagne is always appropriate and always appreciated. But I have to say, if you can't get to champagne and maybe you have a really good IPA or a big fat red wine, or how about a shake, baby?
We love the shakes at the Shake. Now, did you have a shake when you were at the Shake?
Did I?
Yes.
I did not. I confess.
I'm so sorry.
I've got every vice on my shoulder, but I don't have a sweet tooth.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yelena, what are you sipping tonight?
Yelena, what are you drinking tonight?
I can't hear you.
Oh.
You're breaking up really bad. I can't hear you, sadly. I'm having
I thought I saw a glass of red wine in her hand. I've also been told that when we go to New York and we interview New Yorkers, that there are so much demand for the bandwidth that it's for our shows. So I apologize to our audience, and we'll point out that we'll figure this out sooner or later. Maybe there are some key hours we can dance around.
It looks like we lost her. No, it's just
Elena
us.
Pasek from Harlem Shake. Annie, I know we didn't set this up with you in advance, but I love
Wait a minute, Jennifer. Jennifer. Elena's coming back on, and I also have. Let me just get her back on. Device is not. Let me do this. Let me bring on another one of my classy friends. I mean, when I say classy, this may be the classiest man in the world. Let me get Elena back on. Here we go. All right, you back on, Elena?
Internet.
I know. Okay. I'm going to bring on now a living legend.
Can you hear me now?
We hear you. We hear you. Yes. I'm going to bring on one of my friends from New York who's also a living legend.
Yeah,
a legend. Here he is. Here he is.
Oh,
look at this guy. Look at this handsome man.
Look at one. Only the legend. Graham Morgan is with us in the house.
How are you guys doing?
I mean, now we're doing great.
Listen, can I swoon?
Are you swooning, Jennifer?
Yeah, I am. I'm swooning. This is Mr. Spicy, and I'm Mrs. Spices.
Okay. Beautiful.
So Gramps is my very, very close and dear and brother, basically. I know we actually do look alike. If you look at us up close, there's truly a family. Let me see how would this work if I can. You can't see us. What? Where did Annie go? You can see the family resemblance. But Gramps, I wanted you to meet, obviously Jennifer English, my
yes,
right over here, my co-host, Jennifer, and of course Yelena
from Harlem Shake.
Have you heard of Harlem Shake, Gramps?
I heard of the dance Harlem Shake.
Oh my God, you haven't heard of the restaurant?
No.
We need to make the love connection with Yelena for you. Yelena, this is our friend, Graham Morgan, the legend.
Yelena's having choppy sound. Let's cut her out and bring her back in, Yelena. We're going to come back in.
Thank you so much for joining us.
She's going to try to come back, Jen. We want her to come back. I want her to meet Gramps because Gramps has this amazing jerk chicken sauces, and I want Yelena to meet him. So let's, you want to go out and come back in? Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's get her.
Let's tell everybody about Gramps' sauces and how he's fluent in flavor.
Absolutely. Gramps, let's talk to Jennifer. Oh, look at this. About your phenomenalism. And I'll show some pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Gramps, what do we got here? What is this? Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we've got your images up now, Gramps, of some sauces. But I want everyone to know what they are.
Yes. Well, from left to right from your screen, you got the mild jerk sauce. In the middle, the yellow stuff that looks like mustard. That it is not mustard.
Are those Scotch bonnets?
That's Scotch bonnet pepper sauce. Yes, and it's part of the habanero family. But not only that, but it's the Scotch bonnet pepper is one of the most flavorful peppers. It's a heat, but there's a certain flavor to it, and which it's one of the main components in making the jerk sauce. In the middle, the big stuff that looks like barbecue sauce, that's a jerk barbecue sauce, and then to the right you have a hot jerk. So in the jerk line you have mild and hot for people that want to turn up the fire a little bit more than most.
Nice.
And then Gramps also has this line. This is the same, different stuff, Gramps?
Yeah, just different shot.
Now, Gramps has been doing some really fun restaurant. I almost want to say pop-ups, right, Gramps? When you're doing the jerk chicken, you're coming in as the celebrity that you are. Of course, it's the reggae celebrity. So the reggae. How do you pronounce that, Gramps? Is it reggae?
Reggae.
Oh, just reggae?
Yeah, man.
Gramps Morgan, the legend.
Well, we've done a couple collaborations with Marcus Crooks from the Food Network at his restaurant called the Red Rooster in Harlem. I've done some stuff up there. We've also worked with Chris Blackwell. He has something called Blackwell Rum. I've done some things in the Caribbean, Virgin Islands, even this guy named Kenny Chesney a country artist here from Nashville, Tennessee, where I live, was very interested in it. I've pre-launched it on a tour that I did with Bob Marley's children, Damian Marley, Stephen Marley, is Bob Marley's grandson. His name is Joe Mercer Marley, Taurus Riley, and Morgan Heritage. So we did a tour, and every night I would cook for the whole about 200.
Awesome.
And also at the same time, we would sell bottles of jerk to the public, and it sold off. We sold 3 pallets of it. So now it's about maybe getting ourselves together and jump on the Shark Tank or doing something crazy and get it to the people.
Hey, Gramps, I have to ask you, when you are a legend in the music world and you cook the way you cook and you're fluent in flavor and music,
Yes.
most of us are lucky enough, if we have a love language, to be fluent in that love language. Is music your love language? Is food and flavor your love language? Or how do you define it?
Well, I would say it goes hand in hand, because from the 70s, when people have been coming to Reggae Sunsplash and sleeping on pieces of cardboard boxes just to...
Hey, Michael, can you pull up the picture of me in the spice shop with the spices in my hand? Because we're working through all this today. One of the things, Gramps, you and I have in common is that Marcus Samuelson, my friend Marcus Samuelson, and I created a line together when his Africaya book came out. And I've got a picture up on the screen right now. In my left hand, I've got 2 tubes of spices, and those are the Africaya spices we did with Marcus over 10 years ago.
Wow, such a nice man. Very, very
lovely
nice
human being. But I love his idea of flavor. And one of the blends we did together was a jerk blend, but it was a dry jerk blend. For people who are not familiar with the culture of the islands from which we grew this love for the jerk seasoning, will you talk about what jerk is and what the tradition involves?
And don't talk about Mojo, because I know that's the jerk, but let's not talk about Mojo. Oh my God, Gramps.
The jerk culture, it derives from Africa, and it was used to preserve meat when people would go out in the wild and make their kill. And when a lot of times they didn't have ice or refrigeration, it is used to preserve meat. But also at the same time, it developed as a something to preserve meat. It also came about with a flavor that's just incredible. The flavor of jerk is incredible. You're talking about things like pimento. I think in America they call it here allspice. You're talking about the Scotch bonnet pepper. You're talking about a little bit of nutmeg. You're talking about a little bit of garlic powder. Just until today, even people like Kraft macaroni and cheese, Mr. Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, is now trying to do a jerk. So what I'm trying to do as a musician that's traveled the world and as a Jamaican is to bring authentic jerk seasoning to the people. There are many different brands out there, but I think we have really captured something with my jerk sauce. It tastes different. It's really something special, and I can't wait to get it to the people.
Words that I've heard used about your products include essential and irresistible, because you have really struck a very pure note that somehow in that one note of flavor, you can communicate an entire emotional and cultural experience about a type of cuisine. And that idea that it's so important to you that you wanted to bring this and share it with people, it's really powerful. Can you talk about the spirit of being a musician and how that same spirit of generosity lets you share your gift as a musician in a fluency with food as well?
Well, one of the things is that, and Mike knows this as well, the stage is somewhere that we can all relate to, just like the kitchen. Everyone has something attached to the stage. People love music and people love food, right? We can't survive without food. So there's something special about when, especially in Jamaican culture, in the Caribbean island culture, we love on a Sunday Music is playing in the background and we're making rice and peas. That's part of the culture. It's a family kind of thing. Similar when I went to Israel, when I was in Israel, the food just tastes different than having Jewish, food in New York City. You'll get it close, but you're not going to get that authenticity. And that's what I'm trying to bring, is that authentic jerk. Because you go into the supermarket today, you see all kind of different jerk, and then you got all these different restaurants that say, I have a jerk salad, and it's not the same coming from Jamaica when you get that authentic jerk taste. And I've seen people that challenge, I'm even ready to challenge some of the people on the Food Network, like Beat Bobby Flay and these guys, because I want them to understand that there's something special about the food that comes from Jamaica. It just tastes different. The same way I've experienced when I was in Israel. I had rice there. I had the tomatoes. It tastes totally different.
Graham, you're so good to be with us and visit with us and let us introduce your marvelous products to our audience. But I got to talk a little bit now about magic.
Yes.
Because when you cook, you, me, Yelena, any of us, when we cook, everything we make and every tool we use allows the spirit that we have and the love that we have for the people that we cook for to come through us and into the food.
Yes.
Yelena, do you understand?
Oh, I totally understand. Actually, I kind of spent most of the last 4 weeks just going to certain cookbooks that I haven't had a chance to do my recipe, and my whole family was so thrilled that my daughter started an account called Quarantine to Eat on Instagram, and she said that this is a restaurant that recently opened in my home. It's just love them, bringing people who love together. That's like one of my personal pleasures.
So, Gramps, talk a little bit about the magic of how the love flows through you into food and the love flows through you into music.
Well, that's a great question, Jennifer, because one of the things that we grew up in the Caribbean, that even in Caribbean culture, the men have to know how to cook. That's number one, even before the daughters. When growing up as a son, the mom always wanted to make sure her son knows how to cook, because when you get a wife, you got to know what you're tasting. So food comes with love. And when we grew up, it's like my grandmother always told me that if you make food and there's no love in it, you can feel it and you can make people sick. That's why people get stomach viruses. I mean, other than food poisoning and other things. But when you eat food, there's something that has to come over you. And there's people, I'm a Food Network fanatic. I watch the channel all the time. And you hear them always talk about what you just said, is that you can feel the love in the food. And that's very important in Caribbean and island cooking. Have
you cooked with Roger Moo King yet?
Not yet, no.
And we have another mutual friend. So Kenny Chesney, do you like his rum?
Oh, yes. Blue Chair, yes.
Yeah. Well, we got to figure out how we can infuse all that rum love and all of that flavor into an experience together. Because the one thing I'm hoping that we do is tonight we're looking past this pandemic to the post-pandemic period where entrepreneurs are going to pivot and everyone's going to bring what they have. And we're all going to celebrate and share and break bread together and infuse the food that we share together with all of our love. And that's why we wanted to invite Yelena to come on with us. And that's why Annie's with us. And that's why you're here. Because it's not enough to feed everybody. Like our friend Jose Andres goes around the world after a crisis and feeds people. He feeds people with love. It's not just food.
No, it's more than... You can feel it. You can feel it, Jennifer. Like I said, that's staple. In even Italian, in most cultures, I can say in most cultures, especially out of the United States, I mean, let's face it, the United States is a melting pot, right, of every other culture. When you talk about Italian food, like it's the fresh tomatoes, it's the fresh garlic, it's the love as to just not caring what is inside of your pot. It's fresh ingredients, and it's the care of what you are preparing for another human being.
And then in Jamaican culture, what are those marvelous little pastries that are kind of like a turnover?
Oh, patty.
Patty.
Jamaican patty. They
Well,
call
you
it the
gotta
Jamaican beef
you and I
patty.
gotta do a patty making session sometime soon.
I'm gonna get my skills sharp and be ready for you, Jennifer.
You got it. And I'm going to be looking for you on Food Network sometime soon. Tell everybody where they can find your products.
You can go to my social media. It's called Gramps Morgan Farms, and you can see everything there, everything about me, or you can follow me on Instagram at Gramps Morgan. Simple. It's straight my name, one word, Gramps Morgan. And we're looking to launch to the world very soon, coming to a supermarket near you.
Isn't that fun, Jennifer? I like the pop-up stuff. I like the collaborations. That's why when Yelena said that she does the jerk chicken, I was like, this is an amazing thing because I want them to meet. Because Gramps
does jerk chicken? Whoa.
Yeah. And Gramps being from, I don't like to say this to everyone, New York City. He's obviously up there a lot, Gramps. And then her restaurant is in Harlem. Elena, are you there? Can you? I think she's looped out again.
Oh, it's totally me. Yeah.
There she is.
Let's make a pop-up be born. Let's plant the seeds for a pop-up with Gramps Morgan and Harlem Shake. And then when that day comes, I'm coming to town.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'd like to get Gramps cooking with a bunch of the guys like Moo King and all those guys and Marcus and whatever. I think we should schedule some kind of a fun after quarantine thing at cities across the country, and
listen,
Elena will get involved.
We've got New York Food and Wine Festival nobody knows what event's going to take place and what's not, and most events aren't taking place. So how are they going to be reborn and revived? You know, people are doing cooking classes. We're doing shows like this. It's technically some days challenging. We're doing the best we can, but all of us on Food and Beverage Magazine Live are trying to do this because this is for the industry. We're hoping that you'll hear about people doing something somewhere in the country and be inspired to try it wherever you are. Try a pop-up like Annie's doing at Little Bird. Try something like they're doing at Harlem Shake. Try and bring some kind of that pop-up spirit to your regular world, the way Gramps is bringing his sauces to his music life. There's a way to be inspired by everybody we've had on today, and I hope that they can continue to inspire us. And Michael, thanks for bringing us all together.
Well, it's nice. I think the internet doesn't want us to be all together today, though.
I think that we're having challenges, but thank you for
I love challenges because the thing is, Jennifer, this isn't our main thing. You know what I mean? This isn't what we do. We're doing this to bring information to the people, to show the love of the people out there, to show what's happening in the industry and that you can succeed, right? And you can succeed and work harder. And it's all about ingenuity and ideas and pivot and all these great words. And these guys right here, you bring Gramps Morgan up over to Harlem. Let's see what happens. When you bring Gramps Morgan up over to Harlem Shake, and you get, people come out, and I think what needs to happen is everyone needs to work together on how to do that, right? Yeah. It's not man against each other anymore. You know what I mean? And especially in our industry. And I think that's what people need to really have the foresight and seeing, because I live in Vegas and it was man against everybody. I mean, it was my place. You're not here. Blow them out of here. Get rid of them. All this very nasty. You know how my feelings are on this whole city, right?
But we're not talking about that today. Today, what we're doing is
we're trying to bring everyone together, is what I'm saying. We're bringing it all together.
Yelena Pasic, thank you so much for being with us. And please come back and visit with us again.
Yes. And Gramps, wherever you are, we love you.
Michael, when you go home today, hug your kids and count your blessings. Thank you for joining us. We'll be here again tomorrow. We've got great shows all week. You're not going to want to miss a minute of it. And between now and then, we're going to get bigger broadband.
Bigger broadband?
Yeah.
That sounds silly. I don't know what that even means. How do we get a big? It's not us. It's not our broadband. We're fine.
I know.
Don't mock my broadband, Jennifer. You're making me nervous.
Thank you to Annie B. Cox.
Hey, I think we have a show tomorrow. Don't we have a show tomorrow, Jen?
We have a show every day this week.
Oh, boy. You're keeping me busy.
I am.
All right. Annie B. Cox, Gramps Morgan, Helena. Thank you all.
Thank you to Harlem Shake. Go out and buy local. Get the meals to go. Support your local restaurateurs, and make sure you're doing it with a mask on, and make sure that you are enjoying with people that you care about and love, because this food thing we love so much, it's the language of love we share, and it will be what gets us through.
Thank you, and have a nice dinner.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.